Hello everyone, this is Preni Joel Emmanuel working as a nursing tutor in Manikaka Chopawala Institute of Nursing, a institute of Charusat. In today's video, we are going to discuss regarding emotional intelligence. In this video, we are going to see three topics under the heading of emotional intelligence. First topic is conditioned emotional response. Second is accepting your emotions, and third is identifying positive trigger. Now let's see conditioned emotional response. Conditioned emotional response can be referred as learned emotional response or reaction to certain conditioned stimulus. The term conditioned has been made popular by American psychologists as it tends to make more sense when defining the term CER. The exact translation of Pavlov's term from Russian to English defines the term CER as conditional emotional response. Now we will see how this response works. The process of acquiring a conditional emotional response works in the same theory as the classical conditioning learning method. An organism is exposed to a certain stimulus which then produce a biological significant event, and the conditions or the connection is made. Emotional response could be anxiety, happiness, sadness, pain, and variety of other emotions that can be triggered in an organism. All emotional responses are regulated by the autonomic nervous system. Among the two subdivisions of the system, that is parasympathetic system and sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system are responsible for variety of emotional responses depicted by an average person. The range of emotions includes panic attacks, test anxiety, stage fright or stage fear, and other similar emotions that are expressed while experiencing distraught or uneasiness. The system is automatically activated in the fight or fright situation, which then produces responses like increased heartbeat, sweating, feeling weak on knees, and similar other symptoms. This kind of emotion reaction are unwantedly or unconditionally or unconsciously acquired, and thus even tend to stick to a person for a long period. This conditioned response take up to 2 to 10 seconds to be seen, unlike the motor response, which are even seen as early as half a second. According to the British psychologist Hans Eysenck, all neuroses are essentially conditioned emotional response. Now we will see the example of CER. John B. Watson and Rosalie Reiner conducted an experiment in 1920 called the Little Albert experiment. The experiment involved a 9-month-old baby, and the whole process of the experiment was to induce fear in little Albert. To begin the process, little Albert was tested on his reaction to various stimuli such as white rabbit, white rat, white monkey, white mask, and so on. Kid showed no sign of fear towards the stimuli. Upon testing his reaction by striking the hammer against a steel bar, it was seen that little Albert was startled at the loud sound of the sudden noise, and he would immediately burst into tears. After Albert turned 11 months old, the conditioning began. A white rat was presented in front of the baby, and the hammer was struck against the steel bar just a second later. The trial was repeated 7 times over the next 7 weeks, and Albert would startle and burst into tears every time. It was then observed that the white rat alone was enough to scare the baby. Little Albert would cry at the sight of white rabbit and attempt to crawl away when there was no sound of the hammer striking against the steel bar. Now he fears even Santa Claus, because Santa Claus has white beard. Likewise, we compare our life situation with the situation of little Albert. We may realize that there are a couple of moments when we fear, scared, or become anxious or happy. There must be some stimuli. For example, rose with love, red colored van with fear, school with beautiful memories, and so on. Now we will see the second portion of this video, that is accepting your emotions. This emotional acceptance exercise is one way to help you learn to be more aware and accepting of your emotions. Now, how can you learn to be more accepting of emotions? This exercise teaches you to see your emotion from a little bit of a distance. This is different than dissociation. Often when we have an uncomfortable feeling such as sadness, fear or shame, our first reaction is to reject that feeling. We may tell ourselves that feeling is a bad feeling that we do not want to have. Then we may do something to try to get rid of this feeling, such as trying to push it away or using some drugs or alcohol to feel better. Certainly, no one wants to walk around feeling emotional pain all the time. But when we reject our emotions, we may actually make things worse for ourselves. Often emotions arise because they give us helpful information about the world. So, sometimes getting rid of or pushing away emotion is not the best idea. An alternative to pushing away or shifting your emotion is learning to accept your emotional experience. Accepting means that you practice allowing your emotions to be what they are without judging them or trying to change them. Acceptance means letting go of attempts to control your emotions and learning that emotions themselves cannot harm you. This exercise is adopted from a workbook developed by Dr. Stephen Hess at the University of Nevada at Reno called Get Out of Your Mind and Into Your Life. The workbook is an excellent introduction to a type of therapy called acceptance and commitment therapy, which has been shown to effectively treat a variety of psychological disorders. The workbook is well worth of reading if you are interested in learning more about accepting your emotions. This exercise can be done when you are having an emotion that is unforgettable. If you are just starting to practice this exercise, it is best to choose an emotion that is not too intense. Pick a time when you are having an emotion strong enough for you to recognize you are having it, but not so strong that you are feeling overwhelmed by it. After you get some practice with this exercise, you may want to try it with the stronger emotions. Now this exercise has 4 steps. Now we will see each step one by one. The first step is to identify the emotion you are having. If you are having more than one emotion, just pick one. You can go back and do this exercise with the other emotions later if you want to. If you are having trouble to identify the emotion, sit for a moment and pay attention to your physical sensation and thoughts. See if you can give an emotion you are having a name. For example, sadness, anger, or a shame. Once you have a name for the emotion, just write it down on a slip of a paper. Now we will see second step, getting some space. Now that you have identified the emotion, close your eyes if that feels safe to do, and imagine putting that emotion 5 feet in front of you. Imagine that for just a few moments or few minutes, you are going to put it outside of yourself so that you can look at it. Later on, you will take it back But for now, you are going to allow yourself just a bit of distance so that you can observe the emotion. Third step, give the emotion a form. Now that the emotion is out in front of you, close your eyes and answer the following question. If your emotion had a size, what size would it be? If your emotion had a shape, what shape would it be? If your emotion had a color, what color would it be? Once you have answered this question, imagine the emotion out in front of you with the shape, size, and color you gave it. Just watch it for a few moments and recognize it for what it is. When you are ready, you can let the emotion return its original place inside you. Once you have completed this exercise, just take a moment to reflect on what you have noticed about your experience. Did you notice any change in the emotion when you got a little distance from it? What about changes in your reaction to the emotions? What size, shape, and color did you give the emotions? Did the emotion feel different in some way once the exercise was finished? Practice this exercise once a day for a month. It won't take much time out of your day, so it's not a huge investment. After a month, see if you notice any changes in how you relate to your emotions. Now we are going to see the third last portion of this module, that is identifying positive trigger. One of the many wonders of our brain is how masterfully it rationalizes our behavior. Something occurs and we react, and then our mind or brain instantly concocts a reason for our reaction that seems to justify our behavior even if the reason makes no sense. For example, you get very angry because you can't find a report you were working on. You blame the company for giving you insufficient space, the cleaner for moving things around on your desk, or your boss for giving you a stupid task or deadline. You ignore the reason you are tired and your patience is thin. You suppress your unhappiness with your boss or life. This can be considered as the act of rationalizing is so quick. The best you can do is to recognize when it occurs and choose to consider what else could be causing your reaction. The second step is all about to recognize that you are having an emotional reaction as soon as it begins to appear in your body. Don't judge or fear your emotions. No matter what you learn about the evil of emotions, if you don't recognize your feelings, you can't change them, negatively impacting your relationships, job performance, and overall happiness. For this, we will do one process. It may have 4 steps. First step is to accept responsibility for your reaction. Accept yourself as a powerful instead of as a victim to remove the self-desperation. When you seek to identify what is triggering how you feel in the moment, you give yourself the chance to feel differently if you want to. You will also have more clarity on what you need to do or what you need to ask for to change your circumstances. What would you or what would your life look like if you were in a control of your emotions? How free would you feel if you live your life by choice? If this question inspires you to diligently practice the step for emotional freedom. If the emotion is related to fear, anger, or sadness, the third step is to determine what triggered the emotions. For this, you can question yourself that what do you think you lost or what did you not get that you expected or desired to have. The fourth step is to choose what you want to feel and what you want to do. With practice, the reaction to your emotional triggers could subside, but they may never go away. The best you can do is to quickly identify when an emotion is triggered and then choose what to say or to do next. Now we see the last fifth step, that is to actively shift your emotional state. You can practice this step at any time, even when you first notice a reaction, to help you think through your triggers and responses. When you determine what you want to do next, shift into the emotions that will help you get the best result. For this, you need to follow this 5 steps. In first step, that is called relax, breathe and release the tension in your body. Second is detach, clear your mind of all thoughts. Third is center, drop your awareness to the center of your body just below your navel. And fifth is focus, choose one keyword that represents how you want to feel in this moment. Breathe in the world and allow yourself to feel the shift. Stop trying to managing your emotions. Instead, choose to feel something different when an emotion arises. This is how you gain emotional freedom. It was all about Emotional Intelligence Module 2. Hope you have liked this video and we will practice this in all our critical time.